So I'm excited because Jesse's story is really great and powerful. And so can we welcome Jesse up to share his story?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? So, a little honesty here. My heart is beating out of my chest right now. I do some stage stuff from time to time with my job, and normally I'm not nervous. Actually, I wasn't nervous until about 10 minutes ago when my friend Catherine asked me, she goes, "Have you ever actually done public speaking in front of other people?" I said, no, I haven't. So I'm very nervous right now. But I'm going to tell you a story about a trip I went on about 10 years ago with my identical twin. And I have a twin. I'm Jesse. He's Joey. If you're wondering, he's older by about 35 minutes. Our poor mom. And we are very identical. We both work in radio. He lives in Knoxville. I'm here in Cincy. And we are both big Michael Jackson fans. And just a little bit more about my twin before I get into that story is that Joey and I are very, very close. I don't know about all identical twins or all twins in general, but we talk to each other on the phone every single day. That's a person I could share everything with, and he's very, very important to me. So we bought tickets to see Michael Jackson in London in 2009 because we've been a fan of him since we were however many years old, 5 years old. Bought our tickets, bought our plane tickets, and then he passed away. So we're like, let's go to London anyway. We already have the tickets. Let's go on a trip. So we were going to make the most of it. We were going to go see a show there, a Michael Jackson tribute show, and just do all the things. We love museums. We love everything history. London was kind of a natural fit for us. So we'd been there for a couple days. We'd already done the tribute show. We'd already seen a few things. And we were at the day where we were going to go to the Buckingham Palace. And we stayed at a hotel that was about 20 minutes outside of town. And that morning, him and I were not happy with each other for some reason, which tends to happen when you're very close to a person. You bicker and argue about just dumb, stupid things. And that was one of those days. And we walked out of the front of the hotel. We were 20 minutes from London. We had to get on a train. And I said, "Joey, did you grab the tickets?" And of course, he was upset at me because he had forgotten the tickets. So he had to go all the way back to the hotel room to get them. And this is where the story starts to change. Everything on this trip was great up to this moment. And I don't know if you've ever had that intuition that something's wrong or something has taken a little too long and you start to worry about a person. But it was about 3 minutes for me. I'm standing on the sidewalk thinking to myself, why isn't he back down here yet? So I walked inside, walked in the hotel, sat in the chair there for a couple more minutes. He still didn't come down to the lobby. So I did what I think anybody else would do. I got in the elevator, went up to the room. He wasn't in the room. Came back down to the lobby. He wasn't in the lobby. Came out to the sidewalk. He wasn't on the sidewalk. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, we were not happy with each other. He probably is impatient. He walked to the train station. I walked to the train station, 10-minute walk. He's not at the train station. So on the level of nervousness at this point and being scared, I was about a 4 out of 10 at this point. It was just kind of weird. Came all the way back to the hotel. He's not at the hotel. Checked the room. He's not in the room. Went back to the train station. He's not at the train station. We're talking about 25 minutes now in a foreign country. We have zero way to get a hold of each other. He has my passport. I don't know where my brother is. And it's crazy because, you know, your brain goes out of control and it just starts making things up. And I was like, where'd he go? Like, he wouldn't leave without me. So I got it together a little bit, and I walked up to the counter at the hotel. Actually, at this point, I wasn't quite like this, but I got up to the counter, and I said to the lady, I said, I can't find my brother, and I don't know what to do. And, oh God, you talk about somebody looking at you with a look like, huh? Like, she didn't know what to say. She just looked at me, and she goes, maybe go back to the train station? Like, I was just there. So we go back, he's not there. So I had to talk to the police. And we're about 40 minutes in at this point. I tell them the story. I'm not able to talk. I'm losing it. And they said, they're like, what's he look like? We're wearing the same thing. We both got shorts on and shoes. And they're like, okay, we'll check the cameras on all the trains. Go back to your hotel. Now, I'm losing track of time a little bit here in telling this story, but I can just tell you that we're about an hour and 20 minutes in of not knowing where my family member is, the person I'm closest to in my entire life. I have no idea where he's at. So on my way back to the hotel, I pretty much convinced myself that somebody had abducted my brother and that he had been taken because there was no reason he would be gone at all. I think he wouldn't get on a train. I don't know. So I start staring at people. I'm like walking up the steps, looking at people in the breakfast buffet area. I'm like, is that a guilty person? That looks like a guilty person. Are they looking at me? Are they looking at me going, that looks like the guy we just took? Seriously, these are all thoughts in my head. I go to the hotel staff. They agreed to scan the key card, see when it was used last. Turns out he had been in the room. So then I said, do you have security cameras? They do. And guess what happened? I walked in the elevator to go get him. He walked out of the elevator, walked out the front door. I then said, do you have cameras of the sidewalk? They said, yes, but we can't show you those. So now I think the hotel staff is in on this action. And I'm keeping this all to myself. And I'm so worried. And finally, and they could tell I was just pale. They said, we're going to open up this side door on this patio, and you can walk out, and you can just look for him and see if he comes back. We're an hour and a half in at this point, and it's full despair. I'm just standing there. This is a whole block, 2-block radius. I'm looking back and forth, and you keep seeing crowds of people come down the street. And I keep thinking I'm seeing my brother because he's got a backpack on, but he gets close enough, and it's not my brother. So just the thought of who am I going to tell? How am I going to get home? I don't know even what to do. So I stood up there for an hour, feeling all these thoughts, and finally I decided that I had to call someone. So I called the only person I could think to call, which was one of my parents. It was my stepdad. I was like, I needed a little in-between action here. So I called him. He goes, hello. And all I could get out was the word, hey. And he's like, Jesse. And I'm like, and he knew I was in London. I go, hey. And finally, after probably 30 seconds, all I said is, I can't find Joey. And he goes, Jesse, he's been waiting for you at Buckingham Palace for 3 hours. He's on a train. He called your mom. Stay there. And I said, but what if he's gone? I mean, I'm not in a good position at this point. So I'm losing it on the phone. The hotel staff is all gathered at the counter staring at me. They think something's awful has happened, and I just found out. They said, go to the bar. We'll buy you a drink. Wait for your brother. So he comes walking in. About 20 minutes later, I hear him go, where is my brother? And I walk out of the bar, and I walk out, and I see him. And I'm going to censor myself here because I have some friends here that I would not like to say this word in front of. But he throws his bag down in front of the staff. And he goes, I'm effing through with you. And I didn't really have much to say. We walked towards the elevator, and he's like, what happened? And my head is against the wall. I'm bawling tears. It's just relief and shock and all these things. And he's like, okay. And he never gives in to anything. He's like, all right. You're in a bad spot. We go up to the room, and I say to him, I said, what happened? He goes, I thought you went to the train. He goes, I thought you got mad at me. You left without me. I'm like, I would never do that. Why would I leave without you? He goes, I thought you left without me. I'm like, no. And I said, don't you know the rule? Don't you know the rule when you lose someone? He goes, what? And I go, you go back to the last place you saw them. I was thinking this the whole time. He goes, I've never heard of that rule. I'm like, all right. So I said, all right, from now on, if you lose me, you go back to the same spot we found each other. And also an extra step here, go to a payphone, call my voicemail with your phone card, leave a voicemail, and if I can't find you, I'll call my voicemail, check it, we'll figure it out. We go to Buckingham Palace, guess what happened again? So an hour after that, I'm waiting at the front of Buckingham Palace, no Joey. And I'm serious, this really did happen again. I walk to a payphone, I call, and I finally see him walking around a corner. And long story short, just miscommunication again. He had been waiting for me at the end of Buckingham Palace. And I wouldn't let him out of my sight for the rest of the trip. Every corner he went around, I'm like, Joey, and he'd come back around. I'm serious, this happened for the rest of the trip. So the moral of my little story is here. First of all, know the rule. Know the rule. This is important. Last place you saw somebody. And God forbid, if you go overseas, pay extra to bring your cell phone with you so you can just call them. Thank you guys very much.